Hello, my name is Chester J. Tricca. I'm a resident of Italia, North Royalton. I'm a retired Marine, Marine Lieutenant Colonel. I served Korea, Cuban Missile Crisis, Vietnam. The name of the book I'll be reading is The Poppy Lady, Mona Bella Michael and Her Tribute to Veterans. It was written by Barbara Elizabeth Walsh, paintings by Layne Johnson. March 1917. German U-boats had sunk another American ship, and the nation was outraged. Would the president call for war? Would Congress agree? Mona Belle Michael prayed not, and she had been touring Europe when war first broke out in the summer of 1914. But now bomb craters, trenches, barbed wire barriers, and battlefields covered the beautiful countryside, and visions that still made her shudder. April 1917. The paper boy wheeled his bicycle across the University of Georgia's normal school, slamming on his brakes when he reached Mona, stretched the Athens banner away from him, struck by the thundering headlines. Wilson asking for war. Mona slowly climbed to the top of the dormitory steps and held out the newspaper for all to see. It was striking how different personalities reacted to the sight of that headline. As war began hammering against the home door of every American, Mona knew what war would mean to the college girls. She was their teacher and foster mother. Their brothers, their sweethearts, were of war service age. Some of their fathers were. Mona promised she would let them know as soon as the president and Congress reached a decision. All night, Mona called the Athens banner. Each time she was told to be patient. The president was still talking to Congress. At 10:30 p.m., she called again. Tell the young ladies to say their prayers, to go to bed and to sleep. The frustrated editor replied. When news broke, an extra edition would be delivered to campuses and into Mona's hands. Sleep was out of the question. On campus, Mona looked to the stars and moon, bright on this clear springtime night, and breathed the scent of white Cape jasmine blossoms. She thought of the boys at the university. She offered all to God, if only he would spare them. She thought of the boys throughout the country, if only she could go in their place. Before dawn, the edition finally arrived. Mona read Wilson's inspired plea to defend democracy, defend the rights of the small nations, defend the freedom of the seas. America was going to war. Mona vowed to do everything she could for the soldiers, to remember them. Mona knitted socks and sweaters, rolled bandages for the Red Cross, and when enlisted friends and students came to say goodbye, she gave them a little remembrance to take overseas. But Mona wanted to do more. She delivered books, magazines, and candy to their camps nearby. She and friends invited soldiers home for dinner, and I felt privileged to give my best welcome to these lads in my country's uniform. And when it was time for them to leave, Mona went to the train station to see them off. And my heart was thrilled with pride for their bravery, courage, and cheerfulness. They were so young, they were so innocent of the dangers that they were to face. But Mina needed to do even more. To become a canteen worker for the YMCA and help soldiers overseas seemed perfect. She could listen to she could listen about home and family and serve food to men on leave from their battlefronts. In the fall of 1918, her appointment approved, 49-year-old Molina headed for New York City and the training program at the Y headquarters at Columbia University. She successfully completed the course, but was told she was too old to go overseas. Molina refused to give up, but what could she do now? Help the soldiers before they left for war. Molina set up a desk in the basement of Columbia Hamilton Hall where soldiers, sailors, Marines, and secretaries came during their free time. Every day brought privileges to serve men and women going overseas to face the submarine infested Atlantic and the gas, bombs, and shrapnel of the battlefronts. But as winter approached, the large room turned gray and gloomy. The soldiers deserved a brighter, more comfortable place. Molina knew what to do. With his small salary, Molina bought fresh flowers and placed them throughout the room. More soldiers came to read and write. Others came to spend time with family, friends, and sweethearts. So often they would hang about near the desk waiting for a bit of attention. And Molina was happy to look at photographs, listen to letters, and share the latest hometown news. But she needed to do even more. One Saturday morning, a soldier left a magazine at her desk. Molina turned to a marked page to find "We Shall Not Sleep" by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, a Canadian physician. She had read the poem many times, but she read it again, touched by McKay's tribute to the soldiers he could not save on the battlefields of Flanders. The poem was most strikingly illustrated in color. Spirits of soldiers floated above a battleground covered in white crosses and bright red poppies. There were no names on the crosses, no memory of who rested beneath red poppies. And Molina knew what she had to do. She read the last verse slowly. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. To Molina, it seemed as though the silent voices again were vocal, whispering. She thought her friends and students and the soldiers at the Y and knew she could never forget them. Molina turned over an envelope and wrote a pledge, ending with a promise. And now the torch and poppies read, we wear in honor of our dead. Fear not that ye had died not for naught. We'll teach the lessons that ye wrought. in Flanders fields. When she finished, Layne looked up at three war workers standing by her desk. On behalf of everyone, they came to repay her for her kindness. She shared both poems with the men. Impressed, they shared them with others. Soon, Layne was surrounded by men wearing poppies of their own to honor their buddies, sleeping now among the poppies of Flanders fields. Layne knew just what to do. With their $10 check, she announced, "I shall buy red poppies. I shall always wear red poppies, poppies of Flanders fields." Layne went poppy hunting on the streets of New York. It never occurred to me the difficulty I would have in finding artificial poppies of Flanders fields in the novelty shops of New York City. At last, at Wanamaker's department store, she found one large and 24 small red silk poppies. Layne pinned one on her cloak collar and hurried back to the Y. It was evening and the room was quiet. Layne placed the large red poppies on the vase on her desk and handed out 23 smaller ones to the men and women leaving soon for France. She watched as they pinned them on their uniforms. Still, Layne needed to do even more. She would not stop until every American wore a poppy to remember the soldiers. Always.